And welcome to Atlantic Television, Sports Central at this time. Praise Alonga is my name, and I have an incredible guest with me. Again, Emmanuel Chisorum joins in on the show. Good to have you, Emmanuel.
Good to be here, Praise. It's wonderful, and it's always a fantastic experience doing this with you.
All right, so let's go straight to the thick of the action. Let's talk about the election. It's no more news that the Nigerian Football Federation has a new president, also a new vice president, and not forgetting a new NFF executive board members. I will talk about that. And quickly, Ibrahim Gusau is the new NFF president, and he has come out to also highlight things he will be doing for Nigerian football. According to him, he would make sure that those who has got the heart for Nigerian football, they want the best for Nigerian football. He will bring all stakeholders together, harmonize them, and make sure those who are aggrieved after the election that was held last week come to round table and find a way to working with him and also his new board members. But I will highlight some of those that will be working with Ibrahim Gusau, who's now the new NFF president. But just quickly, Emmanuel, we have a new board members, we have a new president. His first responsibility, according to him, is that if you have the heart of the game and you are aggrieved with the whole processes in the last 8 years, we would come together, talk to you, see how we can together bring the best out of Nigerian sport. Is that the right direction a new president should go?
Absolutely. I mean, he wants all hands to be on deck, hands in glove as well, so we can come together, galvanize ourselves, and also to galvanize Nigerian football in return. I think so far with what we've seen with all of the court processes and everything, I don't think there's any leader that wants to work in an environment that has so many litigations and all of that. And that's the reason Ibrahim Gusau has called for all stakeholders in football and in Nigerian football to actually come together to work as one. I think it's a step in the right direction, and it goes to show that he's willing to work and he's willing to work with everyone. That's a good one.
All right, I'll come back to you to talk about what you would like to see change in Nigerian football under his leadership and also the leadership of every other stakeholders, really. But just so you know, if you missed how the election processes went, Gusau won with 21 votes ahead of Akinwumi with 12 votes in the first round, and Akinwumi had to Barrister Sheyi Akinwumi, talking about his former first vice president of the Nigerian Football Federation. He also doubles as the FA chairman for Lagos State. He won, and when it comes to the runoff, he decided to pull out. Also, the likes of Shehu Diko, LMC chairman, the second vice president, also pulled out, and some other aspirants also pulled out, like Christian Emeruwa and Abayola and the likes. But for Peter Saidida, who had one vote, contested against Ibrahim Gusau, and he had just won, while Ibrahim Gusau actually scooped 39. That's for the position of the NFF presidency. In the case of the vice president, it was Mr. Felix Anyansi-Agwu that won that particular round, beating Obina Ogba into that position. And for the chairman of chairman, that's Alhaji Ahmed Yusuf Fresh. He returned unopposed, who will be holding the position. And we also had two individuals for each geographical zone being represented in the Nigerian board membership. But in the case of Southeast, there's a situation. It's technically postponed, and the reason was because already Abia State produced a first vice president, and so it means they can have another person using the federal character processes from Abia State contesting for the Southeast NFF board membership position. But that situation has actually been postponed, and we'll be monitoring the situation to see what would happen, what the chairman electoral committee's decision would be. So that's just about those that have been elected to be the president and also the NFF board members. But basically, from a fan perspective, what would you like to see really change under this leadership? For the former president, Melvin Amajo-Pinnick, and his board, he spent 8 years. Many Nigerians were not too happy or would not be happy with his years, because Nigeria failed to qualify for the World Cup. in his last tenure, and we saw how Nigeria were beaten in 2019 African Cup of Nations in the semi-finals. Also, the 2022 African Cup of Nations. I mean, Tunisia knocked Nigeria out in the quarterfinals, and then the World Cup qualifiers came up. Ghana edged Nigeria. The female team also failed to retain the competition they won in 2018. All of these during his administration. We also saw the under-20 women's team at the FIFA World Cup. They also lost against the Netherlands, you know, at the knockout stages. What should change this time around when it comes to the new leadership like this?
Absolutely. A lot should change, honestly. And I think the average Nigerian on the streets in the past couple of years has seen how football has actually regressed by 20 years. And I do think...
Whoa, 20 years you said?
Absolutely. You know, from all aspects, our football has regressed. Age grade football that we used to be known for, we only progress within the West African region. Other than that, nothing else. The female football also that we are known to have done great things in the past, nothing else as well. Other than qualifying for the World Cup, the singular feat of getting a ticket for the World Cup, we couldn't reach it. So when you look at all of these statistics and you look at how the league has also regressed drastically, you might want to say that the Amaju Mervyn Pinnick-led NFF didn't do so well with respect to projecting our football and putting us on that global stage that like we've always been. The problem has never been trying to qualify for the World Cup. The problem has never been our women struggling to make it to the World Cup. We've always done that. The challenge has always been taking it a step further. We didn't take it a step further. So if we didn't take it a step further, then we regressed.
But for Pinnick, I recall during the annual general meeting that was held in Lagos, for him, he said from his own turn, a lot of people didn't really give him so much praise. Like for him, he did well. I mean, he said we should go to other African countries and ask questions about how many African countries has the age grade teams we have, and how many African countries constantly compete in major tournaments. Because for him, it's all about the competition we go for. And he's giving support to the Super Falcons. They played so many friendly matches. You talk about the under-17 boys, the under-17 girls, the under-20 boys, the under-20 girls, the Super Falcons, the Super Eagles. There's been a lot of investment in the national team. And he says, for him, he feels it's all about complaining because we didn't qualify, we didn't get to some certain level. But for him, he has achieved a lot. You disagree with him?
I disagree with him. If you do so well, you don't need to sing your praise. You don't need to call your scorecards. Someone else has to do that for you. It's not you. The nation has to see what you've done so far. Look at Nigeria as a whole. Aside the national Moshood Abiola National Stadium, which other one is of global standard?
Well, you go to Akwa Ibom.
For how long? That has been for how long?
In New York.
For
Gospel Akpabio International
how
Stadium.
Long? What are the plans to bring back the stadium?
Even Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium also in
you and I
City.
know that those stadiums mentioned, the one that comes close to what is used in this time and age is the Nest of Champion in Akwa Ibom State, and that was not even funded or built by the NFF-led administration. No, it was by the state government. Exactly. Yeah. So what have they done with respect to bringing back the glory? What did they do rather? What did they do in terms of renovating all of these archaic sports facilities or football facilities we have? They did nothing. It took a Nigerian to give them some money to bring back the national stadium here in Abuja, right? So when you look at all of these things, it just points in one direction. They didn't do well. Look at the league as well. They met it on TV. Over time, you could say, yeah, the LMC is responsible for the league, but then over time, it's a football. They are responsible for our football in this country. They should have questioned. They should have asked, who are the sponsors? What is going on? They didn't do so well, so they don't need to score themselves. People have to score them. And honestly, on a scale of 10, it's 3.
For you?
Absolutely.
Wow.
They did nothing.
Okay, so now you talk about the LMC.
Yeah.
Just a quick one. The Nigerian Minister of Youth and Sports, Sunday Dari, has set up an interim management committee, IMC, that would manage the affairs of the Nigerian Professional Football League. Let's just leave it at that. Former Director General in the ministry, in person of Benga Elegbele, will serve as the chairman of the constituted body, while a lot of veteran journalists and football administrator Paul Bassi is named the vice president. We have also some other committee members in this. You just mentioned the league not being well managed, but now we have an interim committee. But let's get back to Gusau, Ibrahim Gusau from Zamfara State, who is also the Zamfara State Football Association chairman, formerly the chairman of chairmen, and now the president of Nigerian Football Federation. So what are those things you really, from you want to see really change about our football?
Okay, I think reading through his profile and some of the promises he's made going to the election, I think he made mention of grassroots football, which I actually agree with. I think he mentioned how he plans to integrate, how he plans to bring football down to the grassroots.
Okay.
Bringing it down to the grassroots will help us project our talent. It will help us get more talent and also help our league. I think he highlighted those things. I like to see vividly what he wants to do with all of these plans and how he wants to achieve these things. They are very good plans, and also how he wants to commercialize the football league in Nigeria. All the three cadres, be the MPFL, be the NNL or the NLO. How does he plan?
And even the women's league also.
Absolutely. How does he plan to commercialize them? And then also, are we really ready for a nationwide league? Can we run a national league actually with the way Nigeria is, with the geographical setup we have? Can we run a national league, or should disintegrate into regional leagues and then have playoffs
to decide?
Exactly, because I don't see how a team, for instance, in the northeast, that does not have so much money. You know how federal allocations are shared in Nigeria. So with due respect, states in that region, they don't produce so much of oil. They don't get so much. So you know that states are the major sponsors of these teams. What is the logistics to move from the northeast to the southeast to play football is a lot.
Okay, maybe we'll talk more about how to constitute our league.
Should we decentralize into a regional league so that you play within regions? It's a lot better as opposed to travel, and fans can move
around.
Absolutely. I think it will be easier for Enyimba fans to move from Aba to Owerri or to Awka or to Enugu, as opposed to moving an Enyimba fan from Aba to Pantami or to Ekanemi to play. So look at those things. We need to, exactly. So.
All right. What do you want to see change in Nigerian football under the new leadership of the Nigerian Football Federation that is being led now by Alhaji Ibrahim Musa Gusau, who is also the Zamfara State Football Association chairman? Under his tenure, what do you want to see change in Nigerian football? What do you want to see? Go to our comment section, go to our social media platform, add your voice to the conversation, be part of it. And when we come back from this break, you might stand a chance to, of course, win yourself a top-up. So you have to just stick around, and we would talk about some of the matches coming up this weekend. Today, we would have the UEFA Europa League games and also preview matches before the weekend. Still Atlantic Television and Sports Central. Stay with us. And welcome back. It's still Atlantic Television, Sports Central. Praise. And I have a great guest on the show in Emmanuel Chisaram. So to the games coming up today: Stonegrass against Lazio in the UEFA Europa League. Omonia Nicosia up against Manchester United. The game will be by 7:45. HJK Helsinki against Ludogorets Razgrad. Red Star Belgrade up against Ferencváros. Midtjylland will take on Feyenoord. Rennes against Dynamo Kiev. Roma up against Real Betis. Olympiacos Karabakh. Another game, Freiburg will take on Nantes. Braga, St. Gilles. Fenerbahce, AEK Lakana. Arsenal against Bodo Glimt. Monaco, Trabzonspor. Malmo FF against Union Berlin. And Zurich, PSV. And Sheriff, Real Madrid. Sheriff, Real Sociedad, I beg to say, not Real Madrid, okay? It's going to be Sheriff.
Football.
It's going to be Sheriff.
Real in the Europa League.
Honestly, Real Madrid found like praise. Are you high on something? It's going to be Sheriff against Real Sociedad in today's game in the UEFA Europa League. In the UEFA Conference League, quickly, also tonight, Anderlecht will take on West Ham United. Lech against Hapoel Beersheva. Dnipro, Vaduz tonight. Sevastopol, Balkani today. Hearts Fiorentina. Villarreal, Austria, Vienna. AZ Amkal, Apollon, Slava Prague, CFR Cluj, Basel, Slovan Bratislava, Ghent against Jogaden, Cologne, Partizan Belgrade, RFS, Istanbul Basaksehir, Pionik Zagreus, Molde, Shamrock Rovers, Slovako Nice, Skeleboc, FCSB. Whoa. These are the games really in the UEFA Europa League, UEFA Conference League. I don't know why this league was created, guys. But let's leave that now and talk about matches coming up this weekend in the Premier League. It's going to be on Saturday: Bournemouth against Leicester City, Chelsea, Wolverhampton Wanderers at the Stamford Bridge, Manchester City, Southampton at the Etihad Stadium, and Newcastle will take on Brentford at the St James's Park in Newcastle. While Brighton Sports will be the last game on Saturday at the Amex Stadium, Falmer in Brighton. And on Sunday, Crystal Palace, Leeds United at Selhurst Park in London. West Ham United, Fulham. We'll see Arsenal against Liverpool at the Emirates. Everton, Manchester United also at the Goodison Park. Quickly, these are brilliant matches to look forward to. Chelsea, Wolverhampton Wanderers. Chelsea should seal this, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Considering the fact that Wolves is going through a phase right now, they just let go of their manager. We don't know who is coming in next as well. And also, Chelsea would want to capitalize on their victory at the Selhurst Park last week, and also probably get a win and see that Graham Potter has a very good start to his Chelsea management.
And other games, just before we talk about other games, we also look at what the table looks like. But let's also look at another big team that will be in action. Brighton Sports. Brighton have been doing well this season.
Absolutely.
They've been remarkable, isn't it?
Absolutely. And at the IMEX Stadium, with the way they play fearlessly, if they could get a point against almighty Liverpool at Anfield, and Spurs have been capitulating in a couple of games, what stops them from winning Spurs at the Amex Stadium? I mean, that's a very decent side, and I mean, when you look at, if you do a research on Brighton, you see how they work, like how they actually manage that club side, you get to know why they do the things they do in the Premier League. So I fancy them to actually beat Spurs. Spurs have been huffing and puffing. I don't think there's so much content in that Spurs team.
And Manchester City against Southampton. Man City should have it right here.
Yeah, I mean, that Southampton are like lambs for slaughter. It's over.
All right, on Sunday, Arsenal Liverpool. That's like the biggest game this weekend.
Is that? I would rather say
or
the biggest
Everton,
game.
Manchester United.
Honestly, I would rather say the biggest game the weekend would be Arsenal would be Liverpool at the Emirates.
So, what game do you think will be the biggest? Or is
honestly,
is the biggest?
It will be Spurs Brighton.
I see.
Look at all
Brighton
of the games.
Spurs?
Brighton Spurs, right? Look at all
For
of the
real?
games. I'm telling you.
But okay.
Brighton will want to capitalize on their very brilliant. I feel they should have won that game, but they lost it.
That was against Liverpool.
Against Liverpool, that draw feels like a loss because they were 2 goals ahead. Liverpool came back 2-2, and then Liverpool scored 3-2. Yes, 3-2, and then they came back. They got a late equalizer, and they should have won that game. So they feel disappointed. So moving to the Amex Stadium next weekend, that's this weekend rather.
Yeah.
They should, and also Tottenham having the disappointment they had last week, they would want to capitalize on that. One would want a point, the other would want a point. That makes it a very fantastic clash.
And Everton, Manchester United quickly. Man United should seal this, but Everton
it won't be an easy game, but I fancy United.
All right, and then on Monday night, Nottingham Forest will take on Aston Villa in their game. All right, Abuja, you just go straight to our social media platform, add your voice to tell us the biggest game coming up this weekend in the Premier League. What is the biggest for you? Join our social media platform always to add your voice to our conversation. Like, drop your comments, share, and watch always all our shows, not just Sports Central, all the shows on Atlantic Television. Until we come your way again, and praise His Emmanuel. Have a great day.